Hey everybody, welcome back for another episode of The Man Tracks.
The commentary on Christian life and culture from a pastor's wife and her sidekick.
That's me.
I'm Sara Mantra.
And I'm that other host, JJ Mantra. Oh, it is the last episode of 2022. And honestly, I'm looking at 2022 and I'm kind of like, you know what? Good riddance. I remember that there were like some jokes made early in the year that it was like, it's not 2022, it's 2020 also. It's 2022. And honestly, I felt that. It was a rough year. And so I am excited to kind of leave it behind. Although I will say this podcast has been kind of a bright light. It's been so much fun. And I was looking at one of those like recap stories, and it was like top 5 crazy news stories of the year, and every story that they listed we covered on this podcast. I was like, that's amazing. Because this is the place where you go to get away from all the things that have a point. Just take a break, put your feet up, and have a listen.
Yeah.
I wonder, do you think people actually put their feet up to listen to podcasts? Like,
no.
You don't. You put it on.
I have never listened to a podcast while I'm doing nothing. Like, I am not just listening to a podcast.
No.
I'm always doing something. Like, I listen to my podcast when I walk in the mornings, or I listen to my podcast while I'm cleaning, or I listen to podcasts while I'm doing other activities, but never sitting with my feet up listening to a podcast.
Yeah, it's a lot like music in that way. You know, you put it on in the background while you do stuff. Anything that doesn't take brain power, I turn on a podcast,
And our podcast requires little to no brain power at all, so.
All right, you ready to approach the news desk?
I am.
All right, do it.
So my first story today is a short one, just kind of a crazy story. An Alabama couple that had a baby 2 days ago now, and the baby was born a week ago, but their newborn shares a birthday with both of them. So the baby was born on December 18, which incidentally enough is also mom and dad's birthday as well.
That's insane. I mean, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. So the Alabama hospital said that the odds of having a baby born on the same day as both parents is 133,000, which actually isn't that rare, to 1.
I find it odd that they put odds out there, because it's not that their odds are like, you do control when the baby is conceived, right? Like, I mean, the odds go up if parents.
But I mean, I don't know. I guess
it's so strange. How are you calculating odds? Like
it says that the woman went into labor on the 17th, but the baby was born at 12:30 a.m. on the 18th. So I don't know. It's just a crazy thing. I couldn't.
I thought that was super quirky. So
well, and it's such a unique thing. Like, we have 2 boys. Both of our first 2 kids have the same birthday. Yeah. Neither of which was born on that day. I always love saying that.
No, they were. Neither of them were due on that day. Liam was due June 17, and Amos was due June 8. So,
but yet they both came on June 15th.
Yep.
Like, it was nuts. Neither was due that day. One was a few days early, and one was over a week late.
Okay, quote late. Like the variables there are like plus or minus 2 weeks either end. It could be as much as a month off in some cases, but like it's early, late. Those are
Yeah. But yeah, it's true. They were both born on the same day, which is super random. But then in talking with some people, like, apparently, like, after we said that the boys were born on that day, like 3 or 4 different people at our church at the time were like, oh yeah, I have siblings that share a birthday.
Yeah. Like,
or, oh yeah, my parents share a birthday. Like, my grandparents, their birthday were only a day apart. So
it's crazy. Yeah. And I mean, if you meet somebody, I'm just wondering about the odds thing. It's like 133,000 or something like that.
Yep.
And it's like, yeah, but I mean, the odds you meet someone who was born on the same day, that's kind of just, I don't know. I have no idea how you would possibly start calculating.
I don't know. I just think it's crazy.
Yeah, to have.
It makes it kind of simple, though. You don't have to worry about forgetting birthdays. It's like, oh, I can't remember when my wife's birthday is. Oh, yeah, it's the same day as mine and my child's. Like,
yeah, I mean, that day is just a massive blowout.
Just
of
a big
day,
celebration.
Right? Like, all right.
I mean, do you even bother celebrating Christmas at that point? It's like a week before. You might as well just like, I know, that's why my dad's birthday is December 18. It's a week before Christmas. He always used to say, as a kid, I never got Christmas presents or birthday presents because everybody forgot about my birthday. It's a week before Christmas.
Up for Christmas, yeah.
So.
Oh, that's so sad. 4-year-old girl gets stuck inside a claw machine.
I heard about this, but I didn't read a story. I am so curious. A 4-year-old?
Oh my gosh.
How does one get into the claw machine?
She just climbed right in. It was a pretty big one. It's one of the larger claw machines.
Oh, okay.
And it has like the big stuffed animals, and it drops it into the bin. And the bin,
a big one. Okay.
like the little square where you're supposed to be able to pull it out. And she just crawled in through the exit on December 20th while at a restaurant in, I don't know how to say this, Arley Beach, Queensland in Australia. Poppy Pike apparently found herself in a predicament. So Poppy's mother caught the moment on video when she discovered her daughter was trapped inside the machine.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine being like, oh, hold on, I gotta go check, make sure she's doing okay with the claw machine, and being like, she's in the claw machine.
But wait, there's a reason.
Oh,
Poppy's older sisters had convinced her to get inside the claw machine in order to grab some teddy bears.
Oh, come on,
Big
sisters.
sister.
Oh, that's just rotten.
Pike and her partner were reportedly enjoying lunch when they were alerted of Poppy's difficult situation by the eldest daughters of the family. So it's like she got her stuck in there. She convinced her little sister to climb in, and then
I cannot imagine. Mom?
Poppy's stuck in the claw machine.
At first we thought just her arm was stuck until we walked outside and saw her fully inside the machine. Poppy was able to get out in a matter of 5 minutes with careful instruction from Pike and her partner.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
So once Poppy had freed herself from the machine, she was instructed to return the stuffed animals which she had taken. She stole 2 teddy bears, which I made her give back to the bar staff to teach her a lesson about stealing, Pike told the news agency.
See, what's funny is in this situation, Amos is our 4-year-old.
Yep.
But I can't see Amos climb into that. I can see Ezra crawling into a claw machine.
Yep.
100%.
Yep. I could see him doing it. I could see Liam convincing Amos to try.
Yeah, I could see that too. Liam's a very smooth talker.
Oh, man.
Amos wouldn't bite, but Ezra so would crawl into that claw machine.
I'll show you the video later, and I'll share it to the socials because
I gotta see
funny.
it.
It's just a mom like walking up and a little girl like stuck inside, and she's just like, ah!
Oh my gosh, I can't imagine. I can't imagine what I would do if I saw my kid in the claw machine.
It's like in Harry Potter in the very first one where he's in the zoo exhibit. It's like, what do? You like walk around the corner and just bam, my kid is inside the thing.
Oh my gosh.
I love it so much.
That's ridiculous. My next story. Okay, this is just embarrassing. Police break into gallery to rescue unconscious woman who turned out to be an art installation.
Wait, the woman, so it's like a mannequin or something?
This is actually the piece of art.
Okay, it kind of looks like a real person. Yeah.
An employee of Law's Emporium in London's Soho area came downstairs for making a cup of coffee to discover the doors off the hinges and 2 confused police officers. Police broke down the doors of a London art gallery to save a woman slumped over, unconscious over a table, only to discover she was made of packing tape and foam filler. The lifeless woman they've been trying to save was, in fact, an art installation entitled Christina, which is on display at the London Art Gallery.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Apparently, yeah.
So they tried to save her, and she was not someone in need of saving.
Exactly. They went in, they thought it was a woman who was unconscious, that she needed assistance, so they broke down the door and found that she wasn't even a real person.
Wow.
So apparently a woman who was working in the gallery that day had just locked up and gone upstairs to make some tea, and she came down to find the police officers responding to a call about a person in distress at the gallery.
Okay, so somebody walked past and saw it, and then called the cops and said, "There's somebody in there."
Officers forced entry to the address where they uncovered that the person was, in fact, a mannequin.
But she doesn't look like she's in distress. It looks like a woman slumped over a kitchen table.
It says the installation features a woman wearing trainers and a yellow hoodie, slumped face forward in a bowl of soup, her long blonde hair concealing her face. It's a realistic sculpture by an American artist, Mark Jenkins.
Okay, so the sculpture's face is supposed to be in soup. So if somebody saw that, you would kind of freak out. Okay.
You would think it was someone unconscious.
Yeah,
but apparently it's not the first time that the installation, which is in a gallery window. So this is why. People walk by, they think it says, this has caused trouble. In October, paramedics were called to assist the woman. So paramedics in October, police officers in December. Unfortunately, this gallery just has seen a lot of...
You know what, though? That's great publicity for them. We have statues that are so realistic, you will call the police.
Apparently this American artist is like... doing really well.
Oh man, yeah, like on the one hand it's like, well, if it's annoying, take it out of the window or put up a big sign that says clearly this is an art exhibit. but the reason they're not doing that is because every time they get a news story, like, we would never have heard
people
about
will go and visit.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, nope, this is definitely intentional, and that's just how it goes. All right, suspicious. I think it's a little bit of a stretch. Suspicious driver with inflatable Grinch uses the carpool lane.
What? He drove with...
A guy. Yep.
Drove with an inflatable Grinch in their passenger seat so they could drive in the carpool lane?
Los Angeles, every who down in Whoville knows you need more than one person to drive in the carpool lane, but cops in Arizona say an inflatable Grinch simply will not do. A trooper in the western U.S. state noticed something amiss last week when a car sailed past carrying a blow-up Dr. Seuss character.
No, sorry.
The law enforcement officer spotted a driver in a high occupancy vehicle lane with a suspicious-looking passenger.
Oh, that's terrible.
That's a really bad pun. They're trying to make it work, too. The trooper stopped the driver and determined that the grumpy green guy was, in fact, an inflatable Grinch. There were no other passengers. The Grinch, whose mission in Dr. Seuss' tale is to steal Christmas from the Who's in Whoville. Why are they telling us?
I'm sorry, do we not know what the Grinch
does not count as a legitimate passenger under Arizona law. Well, I've got like percussion going on in the background over here. While we appreciate the festive flair, this is illegal. And the driver received a citation for the HOV violation.
Wow.
In the children's book, The Grinch's distaste for Christmas, attributed to his heart being 2 sizes too small, is overcome when he sees Whoville celebrating even without presents that he stole from them. And that's the end of the article.
That's the end of the article. So
it's an interesting synopsis of the book and an interesting story about someone.
That's a word count issue right there. They didn't have enough to make the story, and they're like,
it wasn't worth it.
I need 300 words.
So they just had to break their maximum or minimum, and then
I'll just put a synopsis of the book in there.
Oh my gosh. In case no one's aware of what the Grinch Stole Christmas contains.
So we've had a couple stories this year of people trying to get to the carpool lane.
Yeah, what is with that?
With not a real second human being separate from the
I don't live in a place where I have a carpool lane, and never have I felt like I have to drive in the carpool lane because I have somewhere so important.
I just think it would be like... I think it would be funny if somebody was like, "Oh man, I got a blow up Grinch."
Can you imagine passing that person, or that person passing you, to be like, "Wait, what was that?"
Oh man, that is just... I think it's so funny. I don't know how you notice something like that though. Like somebody blows past, you'd be like, "Oh, that was like a green person." You know, that looked kind of like a person in a costume.
I don't understand why you feel it's necessary to do that so you can drive in the carpool lane.
I have no idea. All right, are you ready? Sponsors of our life.
Oh dear. Yeah, actually I think I am.
Nice. What do you got?
All right, so it's kind of general, but I was thinking about the other day because I was reading this article about like how, well, it wasn't an article, someone posting, it was like, never be ashamed of how small your Christmas could be or whatever, you know, whatever you give your kids, the best that you can give your kids is good enough. And I was thinking about it and I was like, well, yeah. And then I was thinking about our Christmas this year and just like major shout out to, first of all, Goodwill, but then also all the people from our church and our friends that like had things that they were, you know, handing off or that they were getting rid of or they were downsizing and they gave to us because honestly, like, I mean, no shade. I don't like this slant of, oh, even if you have to buy your kids gifts from Goodwill, as if buying gifts from Goodwill is a bad thing. Let's just talk about like not reusing. Giving life to things that someone no longer needs is so valuable and keeps it out of landfills and is so much better for the earth. And honestly, like, it is so much better than buying them useless things that they don't need. I would love to buy more things at Goodwill if I find the perfect thing for someone. I don't care where it's from. And I can tell you right now, it's not kids that have the problem with the fact that it's from Goodwill. It's the adults that are stigmatizing it. But we had a lot of family and friends give us things this year. And we, like, things that were totally useful still and had a lot of life left in them and that were perfect and that our kids loved.
Oh
so
my
our
gosh,
Christmas this
they
year was
lost their minds.
sponsored by all of the incredible
By hand-me-downs.
gifts and amazingly giving people in our lives who were like, hey, here are some Matchbox cars, or here are some, toy night sets, and here are Legos. Like,
yep, they got
all
action
of these
figures,
things,
cars, books, Lego action figures. It was
perfect. Yeah, we had a friend give us a bunch of books. It was the perfect thing for our children. Like, it couldn't have been worked out better. I mean, we had just so many things that our kids, want or need, but like they chose to purchase gifts for each other with their money. But I mean, it was amazing to be able to repurpose things that someone was no longer going to use, or that they were just going to donate anyways, to be able to give that and be like, is it okay if I give it to them for Christmas? And they said, sure, that sounds fine. So I was, just shout out to repurposing gifts and, incredibly generous people who were able to, I guess, sponsor my Christmas.
Yeah. It was amazing. And gently used Christmas.
Yep.
But the boys just were so geeked. They were so excited. And I mean, all day they played, all Christmas Day. They like disappeared into their rooms to build the Legos, and then they played the action figures in the basement.
Yeah.
And then they read the books. And
it's an awesome thing.
So sponsoring my life this week is so it's kind of a Christmas tradition, and I'm noticing, at least based on social media posts, a lot of people have a tradition for Christmas morning of doing cinnamon rolls.
Yeah.
I saw like 4 or 5 different posts from different people in different parts of the world. Christmas cinnamon rolls. My mom did it growing up, but this year you on Christmas you made sourdough cinnamon rolls, and I think it's only like the second time I've ever had them. They were amazing. They're very sweet, but they have like a tart tang thing that comes from the sourdough
tang,
and it was so delicious, and that was just definitely sponsoring my life. That was some seriously good eating on Christmas Day.
Usually we do I have done in the past as like an easy Christmassy thing. Like, I'll just buy prepackaged cinnamon rolls and shape them into a Christmas tree. But honestly, I don't know. Like,
and my mom always did the Sam's Club masked, like you buy the big box of them,
right?
And those are a little bigger, but same thing, right? They're pre-made, but you made yours from scratch.
I don't know. I've been really appreciating quality ingredients lately, and the prepackaged stuff just is not great for you. But I was just feeling like, you know what? I'm going to put in the extra effort, and I'm going to make overnight cinnamon rolls. And they did. They turned out really good. They were a good breakfast this morning. So it was totally worth it.
All right. So it is time for us to return to our segment, Man Shreks at the Movies. I try to plan this one, and you can't really. It's really just, because we watch movies a lot. Every now and then we'll throw on a movie, but not all the movies are worth talking about. So you can't plan on it until you just see a movie and you're like, that one. And now it's time.
Yep.
So this past weekend we watched the second installment of Knives Out, Glass Onion. For those who aren't tracking, Glass Onion it's a Netflix movie written and produced and directed and all that by Rian Johnson, who wrote the first movie, which was just called Knives Out, and it introduced a detective character, and the detective is the only character that's the same. So it's got a kind of an Agatha Christie vibe of murder mystery, right? And that was the first one, and then we have a new cast of characters for the second movie, and only person the same as the detective, and it was great.
I liked it a lot. I thought it was great. I'm a huge sucker for murder mysteries. I grew up loving Agatha Christie books and anything along that vein. Like, they've made a couple of Agatha Christie movies in the last couple of years, and I've really appreciated them because they're just it's good content. So anytime I can find like a more modernized version of like a really clever murder mystery, I really appreciate it. But yeah, it was good. It had some really good elements, some really great twists. Just fun,
Well, and it so Rian Johnson is well known. I mean, he has really made a name for himself. He's done a bunch of one-off movies. You would think that they were one-hit wonders. So he wrote Brick. That was one of his very first movies, which is, I don't know, did you ever see that one about
I've heard of it, but I've never
Joseph
seen it.
Gordon-Levitt. It's about drug use, and it's kind of a dark, kind of a noir movie.
Sure.
It was big when we were in college.
Yeah.
A lot of people were into that. But then more famously, he wrote Looper, and then The Last Jedi, and then obviously Knives Out and Glass Onion most recently. So he's really made a name for himself, and there are these twisty movies with plots that are really kind of convoluted, but they're fun. And well, some people really didn't like Last Jedi, but I loved it. I
thought it was good. Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. But I'll tell you, Glass Onion, I actually liked it much better than the first one.
Me too. I was a little disappointed with the first one. It had all the right elements, but it just didn't hit the same.
The murder mystery, the twist of the first one was just kind of like, oh, I guess I wasn't...
Yeah.
It was like nobody was ever going to get that. But with Glass Onion... I mean, it was just, for me, it was just the right level of, because you're always guessing. With murder mysteries, it's like, okay, let's try and figure
Puzzling
it out before
out,
they show it to us.
Right.
Can we solve the murder? And some of the things I got right, it was like, I caught that, but I totally missed that. And I like that. That's an element of a good mystery.
Where you look back and you think, oh, I totally didn't see that. There's some good moments like that.
Well, and a couple of times, and I'm trying really hard, because I don't want to do any spoilers.
No spoilers.
Yeah, we're not going to do spoilers. But a couple of times they moved the goalpost throughout the movie. Like, you think you're doing one thing, and then it's like you think, okay, we're gonna do this is the mystery, and we're gonna solve this, and then suddenly it's like totally different.
Yeah, that was
goalpost,
fun.
and now it's like, oh, it's either a different murder mystery or it was a game and now it's not a game. And it's like, it was really cool.
It was very fun.
Honestly, the metaphor of a glass onion, which the idea of a glass onion is that it is a complex story with layers, but the reality is if you just bluntly look at it, you can see through
Straight
it.
to the center.
Straight to the center. The answer is always there in front of you the whole time.
Clever thing, yeah.
And the more I thought about it, I was like, man, that's good writing, really solid acting, giant cast of all-stars. I mean,
it was a good crew. I was impressed. I was surprised by the amount of people, and even just random people that showed up in cameo status or in random artwork. Like, it was just goofy, but it was a lot of fun. I liked it a lot.
It was good. And I'll tell you, and I don't know, like Rian Johnson, I guess he's got enough clout now. He's established himself. Because the first movie was like a movie that got released, but the second movie, the Glass Onion movie, was bought by Netflix. So I think Lionsgate put out the first one, and they greenlit a sequel, and then Netflix bought the next two movies from...
Oh, so there's going to be another one?
Yes, they bought two sequels.
I can't wait.
And Rian Johnson, when he wrote the first one, he had kind of created it like, if this goes well, I could do a couple with this detective character. I think that would be fun to create kind of the Agatha Christie vibe.
Yeah.
And I think those are hot movies right now, right?
Yeah.
The fun thing about Rian Johnson's is that these are fresh mysteries.
Yeah.
Agatha Christie movies, like they put out a bunch of those recently too. There was the Murder on the Orient Express, and then they did Death on the Nile.
Yeah.
And those were well done, but those are books that have been out.
Story.
Yeah, we know who.
And I think that's why I like this movie a lot, is because I've read every single Agatha Christie novel. I really like the Hercule Poirot books as her character. The Miss Marple books are good too, but I feel like the Hercule Poirot is a better character as a detective, and so they're great stories, and I really did like the film adaptations that we saw. But I love these new ones because they're modern, but they also have like just a new element, and I don't know what's going to happen, and I like that. Like, it's always fun to watch something new like that and be like, oh man, it's this excitement of a new story. So yeah, I appreciated it a lot. It was very good, and I enjoyed it.
The movie's PG-13, so there's a few elements.
Is it PG-13 is not R? Okay.
I'm looking at the thing. Yeah, because Knives Out and Glass Onion were both PG-13. It treaded close to R, but there was no like graphic or anything new. I mean, it is a murder mystery, so there's some stuff.
Nothing like I'm kind of I don't tolerate very much, and so I mean I appreciated it.
And it was. I really I just thought it was a lot of fun, very twisty turny, fairly clean, for what it was. It's a murder mystery.
Oh yeah.
There's no religious elements or anything.
No.
But I do enjoy the metaphor of the glass onion and the way all the pieces come together.
Yep.
I saw a couple of people posting about it was just satisfying.
Yeah.
Like the end of it, you're just like, yes, that's how you want it all to come together.
Yep.
And I really liked that. And the small spoiler is that Daniel Craig's character does live to the end of the film, and there could be another one because Netflix purchased it for like a lot of money. I have to go check. It was like hundreds of millions of dollars. They bought the rights to the next two movies.
This was I think a lot of people watch this movie. It's good.
Yeah. Well, Netflix did such a weird thing with it. They did so the first one, Knives Out, was a legitimate theatrical release.
Right,
it was just out there on, you know, in theaters and then on video. But Glass Onion, they put it in theaters for 1 week. Then they put it on exclusively Netflix. So it was like they got a taste for it. They did 1 weekend out there, brought in, I think it was like 15 million or something like that, which was really good for an opening weekend of a movie of that size. And then they took it onto Netflix. I'm guessing because there's a lot of, you know, they're trying to, they're not going to compete with Avatar right now.
No, there's no.
So I know that kind of stuff's not everybody's game. It is, you know, a mystery, and you have to like pay attention and kind of watch for all the stuff, and there's, you know, all kinds of twists and turns, and that's fun. And if you're not paying attention, it will hurt your head.
Right.
I know I have friends who are like, I don't want to think when I watch a movie. You know, some people just want like mindless action or predictability, but if you like thinking while you watch a movie,
it depends. I like thinking. But then there's like a different level. Like you really like that Tenet movie, and I do. I don't. For multiple reasons. There's a lot of like that's pretty graphic, and I don't really like graphic movies. But on the other hand, like if I'm wanting mindless, I'll just watch like a musical because I love a good musical. But I don't like watching like I don't like action movies most of the time. I don't like mindless action movies. So my thinking movies are like murder mysteries because I enjoy them a lot.
He's so upset over there.
But.
Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery, just came out. It got an 8 out of 10 on IMDb and a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Hey-o.
I think that's well
pretty
deserved.
good.
Yeah, and Ryan Johnson. I'm excited to see what else he's got coming up.
Yeah.
Also, I think okay, is this weird to say? I feel like the role fit Edward Norton really well.
Yeah.
Like Edward Norton's he's done a lot of bad guy characters in lots of movies, and he's not like the bad guy. He's the eccentric billionaire, but he's kind of doofy, you know, like he's super wealthy and out of touch, and for some reason that just fit with the actor that I know. And I don't know if I was just projecting that. Actually, there were several actors who were just cast really well, you know?
Cast. I agreed.
Kate Hudson, her character was like, that's exactly right, you know. It just she fit
felt like
snugly into that role. Not that I think that she's actually like that in real life, but she was just kind of this like,
she played the character well.
Yeah, she did good, and I just it was a snug fit as far as the casting.
Yeah.
And then you get what's the big guy from Guardians of the Galaxy? I forget what his name is. What's that guy's name? I think of him as Drax. Hang on. Dave Bautista. Bautista. Just like he's so big and muscular, and he's just like this big beefy guy.
Yes.
And so he's kind of this meathead kind of character in this movie. Just fits. It was so good.
Yeah. I thought everyone, was well cast, and it
worked out really well.
Mm-hmm. Are you ready to send us out with the mom joke of the week?
I am. Yes. All right.
Go for it.
What do you get when you cross a polar bear and a seal?
A polar bear and a seal. I don't know.
A polar bear.
A what?
A polar bear.
Oh, just...
The polar bear
will eat the seal.
So.
A full polar bear.
Man. Do I have to explain it? Maybe that wasn't such a good joke.
I need all my jokes at this point. Hey everybody, we will be back in the new year. Have a good one.
Thanks everyone. Bye.